Good morning, dear students. Today we are going to start our next section. In this section, we are discussing one theorem. As this theorem is very important, in today's class, we are discussing only this theorem. Okay. Now, just to look at this theorem, already we have say some examples. This theorem says that every permutation in Sn can be written as a product of disjoint cycles. Okay, once again, every permutation is Sn. Every permutation in Sn, okay, can be written as a product of disjoint cycles. Okay. So cycle means what, like this, A1, A2, etc. AK. We can write like this. And this theorem says that any permutation you can write as a product of and disjoint cycles. Okay. Now one more condition is this: the cycles of length greater than or equal to 2 that appears in the product are unique. The cycles of length greater than or equal to 2 that appear in the product are unique. What's the meaning of length greater than or equal to 2? So if you consider a cycle of length 1, what is the meaning of that? For example, in S3, cycle of length 1, you can write cycle 2. What is the meaning of that? 1, 2, 3. Cycle 2 means 2 goes to 2. That means all other remains fixed. That is 1 goes to 1, 3 goes to 3. So a cycle of length 1 always represent an identity permutation. Okay. So again in S5, or you can write cycle 3. Cycle 3 means 3 maps to 3. By definition, all other elements are fixed. That means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3 goes to 3. All others are fixed means 1 goes to 1, 2 goes to 2, 3 goes to 4 goes to 4, 5 goes to 4. That means the single element, cycle of length 1 always represents an identity permutation. Okay. So cycle of length, cycle 1 is same as, cycle 2 is same as, etc. Okay. This is equal to identity permutation. So in this theorem, what we have to prove is every permutation you can write as a product of disjoint cycle. Okay. Before going to the proof, let's see one example. I think it's better to prove the theorem using one example. Okay. So I am considering S11. Okay. This is sigma in S11. So we have to write this sigma as a product of disjoint cycles. For this, what we are considering, just listen carefully what we are doing in this example. Okay, we are starting with 1 and considering sigma 1, sigma square 1, sigma q1, sigma raised to 4 1, sigma raised to 5 1, etc. That means we are repeatedly applying sigma. Clear? So we will reach some sigma raised to 11 of 1, sigma raised to 12 of 1. Okay, as this is of 11. Okay, sigma raised to 12 of 1, etc. But this is a finite set, 11. Okay, so that means at some point this value may be repeated because we know that permutation multiplication is sorry, if even though if sigma apply repeatedly, we will get a permutation in S11 because if you we have this result, if symmetric group of A, this is closed under multiplication. That means S11 is also closed under multiplication. That means if you operate sigma and tau in S11, sigma tau again belongs to S11. Okay, so if you apply sigma sigma, then sigma sigma must be in S11. So if you repeatedly apply this one, all the powers like sigma raised to k also belongs to S11 for every k. That means this is again a permutation in S11. Okay, so that means if you look at the elements, that means these elements may be repeated. Okay, because this is a finite set. So if you look at our example, What about sigma 1? Sigma 1 is 5. Sigma square 1 is sigma of sigma 5. So 1 goes to 5 and 5 goes to 3. So sigma square 1 is 3. And sigma raised to 3 1 is uh, again apply sigma. That means 1 goes to 5, 5 goes to 3 and 3 7. Okay. What is sigma square 1? Sigma of 1. And that's equal to sigma of sigma of 1 is 5. Sigma of 5 is 3. And sigma cube of 1 is sigma of 1. That means sigma square 1 is 3 and sigma 3 is 7. And again apply. And we will get like this. Which is the first element repeated is this is 1. Okay. So in this is clear from our example. Okay. But if we look at this, clearly as this set is finite, clearly we will get sigma raised to some s of 1 is equal to sigma raised to some t of 1. Okay. And let m be the first repetition, like sigma raised to m of 1 is equal to sigma raised to k of 1. Okay. And this is the first repetition, that is k greater than m greater than k greater than or equal to 0. Sigma raised to m equal to 1 equal to sigma raised to k of 1 is the first repetition. Suppose it is the first repetition. Then what happens? Sigma is a permutation. Sigma raised to sigma inverse exists. And if we apply sigma inverse here, what happens? If clearly k is less than m. So if you apply sigma inverse negative k times, what we get? Sigma raised to k of 1 is equal to sigma raised to k minus k of 1, and sigma raised to m minus k of 1 is equal to sigma raised to 0 of 1, and sigma raised to 0 of 1 is same as the identity sigma. What about sigma raised to 1? This is same as sigma raised to 0 is identity permutation. In identity permutation, sigma 1 mapped to 1 itself. So we get sigma raised to mk minus 1 of 1. Okay. So, but this is contradiction because we assume m is the first repetition. So, whenever it's possible, the first repetition must be 1 itself. Okay. So, sigma raised to m minus k of 1 is equal to 1 is the first repetition. Okay. And we are assuming, we are taking here what is the value? Here is again a 1. Okay, 1 repeated many times. Okay, so 1537 1537, this is, I think this is sigma 1 sigma square 1 sigma q 1, this is sigma raised to 4 of 1. Okay, sigma 5 6 7 8, and sigma raised to 8 of 1 is also 1 here, but we are taking sigma raised to 4 of 1 as 1. That means we are choosing, let r be the smallest positive integer such that sigma raised to r of 1 is equal to 1. In this case, we are taking 4 as r and sigma raised to 4 of 1 is equal to 1. Okay. So, what about sigma r minus 1 of 1? If you consider sigma 1, etc., sigma raised to r minus 1 of 1, clearly these elements are distinct. So in this case, if you consider 1, 5, 3, 7, clearly these are distinct. The repetition happens at the at when n is equal to 4. Okay. So if you take 4 as r, the repetition happens at the time when r is equal to 4. So up to that means sigma 1, sigma 2 and sigma 3, these elements are clearly distinct. Okay. So if you consider the cycle as, consider first cycle as 1, 5, 3, 7. Okay, so in our this case we are considering the cycle 1 sigma 1 sigma square 1 etc., sigma raised to r minus 1 of 1. Okay, Okay, where r is the smallest positive integer at which sigma raised to r of 1 is equal to 1. So in this case we have this one. Okay, now consider the element. We are considering S11. You choose an element in S11 which is not in the set this 1 5 3 7, which is the first element, which is the first. Here 2 is the first element in S11. Okay, okay, from the set, no, not from S11, from the set 1 to etc up to 11. Okay, so here 2 is the first element, and repeat the process. A sigma, sorry, 2 sigma 2 sigma square to etc. So let in here we are assuming let A be the element in set this one which is not in this set. That means, and then consider A sigma, okay, like this, some sigma raised to s minus 1 of A, because as in our previous case 2 sigma 2 sigma square 2 sigma cube 2 etc, in some point, at some point these values may be equal, and let that value be equal, and that repetition must be equal to 2, and let that value be sigma raised to, here some sigma raised to s of A equal to A, and then consider the values A sigma A etc sigma raised to s minus 1 of A. Clearly these are distinct, same procedure as in this set. Okay, but here what about 2? What about 2? Here 2 is goes to 2 itself, so here we have only one cycle, and that is 2. Okay, so is this set is over? 1 5 3 7 and 2 is over? No, here again we have numbers in 1 etc 11, and the next first element is 4. Okay, so here we are choosing if this set 1 sigma 1 etc sigma raised to r minus 1 of 1 comma A sigma A etc sigma raised to s minus 1 of A equal to our set 1 to etc n, then we are over. Otherwise choose some B not in these two sets. Okay, such that okay, B in this set which is not in these two sets. Okay, so here what is the first element is 4, then consider sigma 4 etc sigma raised to 4. Okay, so here also what happens, at some point this value repeated. Okay, so here we are considering B sigma square B etc some sigma raised to t minus 1 of B, because at some point sigma t B must be equal to B itself. Okay, is repeating means what? Sigma raised to 4. Okay, here if you look at the values, these values are like this: 4 6 8 4 6 8 4 6 8. So what the first repetition? First repetition is 4. Okay, and what it is at sigma uh, sigma sigma 3, and so here t is 3, and we are considering the elements up to t minus 1. Okay, so 4 6 8, and let it be mu 3. Then if this set 1 sigma 1 etc sigma r minus 1 of 1 comma A sigma A like this, and B sigma B is which is equal to sigma raised to t minus 1 B equal to 1 to etc n, then we are over. Otherwise choose a C not in this set. So here what happens, we have 9 is there. Now consider 9 sigma 9 etc. So this is actually 9 11 10 9 11 10 9 11 10 like this, and the first repeated element is 9. Okay, so we are considering elements up to 9. Okay, So what we get is mu4 is equal to this one. So thus we get 4 cycles, and with this the set 1 to etc 11 is completed, and we get 4 cycles mu1, mu2, mu3, mu4, and clearly all these cycles are disjoint. Okay, now we have to prove our sigma is a product of these cycles. And before that we have discussed in our last class product of disjoint. If product of if two cycles are disjoint, then they commute. Tau sigma equal to sigma tau if sigma and tau are disjoint cycles. So mu1, mu2, mu3, mu4 is same as, if you can interchange this, some mu1, mu3, mu2, mu4, because mu2 mu3 is same as mu3 mu2. Okay, or you can write this as mu3 mu2 mu4 mu1, because mu1 mu2 mu3 mu4 is same as mu2 mu3 mu4 into mu1. Okay, so so we can write this in any order, and now we have to prove sigma is a product of these cycles. From this it is clear that if you take, listen carefully, if you take any element in the set 1 to etc 11 which is not in this cycle, then that uh, the image of that element under mu1 is a fixed element. Okay, that means once again mu1 of, you take mu1 of 2, mu1 is actually the cycle 1537. That means in mu1 or under mu1, 1 goes to 5, 5 goes to 3, 3 goes to 7, all other elements remains fixed. That means mu1 of 2 is equal to 2, mu1 of 4 is equal to 4, like this. Okay, so here also under mu3 all other elements, all elements other than 4, 6, 8 are fixed. In under mu4 all other elements other than 9, 11, 10 are fixed, and 9 goes to 11, 11 goes to 10, and 10 again goes to 9. Okay, so now we are going to prove this product is equal to sigma. So first you consider mu1, mu2, mu3, mu4 of 1. And you can write this as mu1, mu2, mu3 of mu4, sorry, mu3, mu4 of 1. Okay, what is mu4 of 1? Under this map, mu4 maps 9 to 11, 11 to 10, and 10 to 9. All other elements fixed. So mu4 of 1 is 1 itself. Mu4 of 1 is 1 itself. Okay, and what about mu3 of 1? Under this map also 1. Okay, and mu2 of 1, this also fixed, and mu1 of 1 is 5, and which is same as sigma 1. Or you can write this as, if you take 1 from this, clear that if you take any element, just look at which cycle that belongs to, then only that cycle moves that element. So here you can directly write this as mu2, mu3, mu4 into mu1 of 1. Okay, because of commutativity property, and this is equal to mu2, mu3, mu4 of mu1 of 1 is 5. Okay, and clearly 5 is not in these cycles. That means this product always gives the same value. If you look at this, mu2, mu3, mu4 of 5 is fixed at 5, mu3 of 5 is 5, mu2 of 5 is 5, and that's equal to sigma 1. Okay, like this you can directly write from here. Okay, so next mu1, mu2, mu3 of 2, mu2 of 2, and as this is the identity 2 cycle 2 is a single cycle, you can avoid this. Okay, because that is an identity permutation. Okay, but for convenience I am writing this here also, and that's equal to like this. And then mu1, mu2, mu3, mu4 of 3, here 3 is in this cycle and 3 goes to 7 under mu1. So I'm taking mu1 here, mu1 of 3 equal to 7, and that's same as and that's the same as sigma 3. And proceeding like this, if you look at this, and now I'm calculating mu1, mu2, mu3, mu4 of 8. Okay, and 8 is in which cycle? 8 is in the cycle 3 and 8 goes to 4. So this you can write as mu1, mu2, mu4, mu3 of 8, and 8 goes to 4, mu1, mu2, mu4 of 4. Okay, what about 4? 4 is in this cycle. Okay, all other cycles keeps 4 fixed. So this is equal to 4, and which is equal to clearly sigma 8. If you look at sigma, if you look at our sigma, sigma 8 is 4. Okay, so like this. And last element, what about mu1, mu2, mu3, mu4 of 11? What about mu4 of 11? Mu4 of 11 is, I think it's 10. Okay, look at mu4 of 11. Mu4 of 11 is 10. Okay, so mu1, mu3, mu4, sorry, mu1, mu2, mu3 of 10. So 10 is in the cycle mu1, mu2, mu3. Sorry, 10 is not in the cycle mu1, mu2, mu3. Therefore, 10 is fixed by these elements, and which is equal to 10. And clearly this is equal to sigma of 11. And finally, thus we get mu1, mu2, mu3, mu4 of A equal to sigma of A for every A in set 1 to etc. 11. That means sigma equal to mu1, mu2, mu3, mu4. Okay, and from here it is clear that this is the product of disjoint cycle, and you can write this as mu1, mu3, mu4 because mu2 is an identity permutation. That means here every cycles are disjoint and cycle of length, each cycle have length greater than or equal to 2. And you can prove, suppose this you can write sigma as you can write as some delta 1, delta 2, delta 3, and you have to prove this delta 1, delta 2, delta 3 is equal to mu1, mu2, mu3, or like this. Okay, for some, how you can write, you just think about that, and that you will write as some exercise. That means this representation is unique. Okay, that part I am leaving you as a homework assignment. So we will move to our proof. Okay, so clear, once again I am repeating what we are done in our example. We first choose one, then apply sigma. Okay, and at some point this 1 is repeating, and that value, that smallest value we choose as r, and consider the elements up to 1 etc. sigma raised to r minus 1. Then choose an element A that is not in the set 1 sigma 1 etc. sigma raised to r minus 1, and which is in set 1 to etc. n. Okay, 11, like this. Then choose B and proceed like this, and finally we exhausted because the set 1 to etc. n is a finite set. Okay, so we are doing this in our proof. Okay, now moving to our proof, let S is equal to 1 to etc. n, and let sigma belongs to Sn, which is equal to symmetric group of S. Okay, and if we apply successive powers of sigma to 1, we have elements 1, sigma square 1, sigma q1, etc. After some point, there must be a repetition. Okay, because since S has only n elements. Suppose sigma raised to m of 1 equal to sigma raised to k of 1 is the first repetition with m greater than k greater than or equal to 0. If k greater than 0, then apply sigma inverse to both sides of the equation of total k times, then sigma raised to m minus k of 1 equal to 1. We have done in our example, okay, equal to 1. okay, which contradict the choice of m, because we choose m as the first repetition, but here we get m minus k, m minus k of 1 equal to 1. Okay, so what will be the first repetition? First repetition must be 1. Okay, thus the first time a repetition occurs, it is 1 that is repeated. Okay, one is the first repetition. Okay, and if we let r be the least positive exponent for which sigma raised to r of 1 is equal to 1, then these elements 1 sigma 1 etc sigma raised to r minus 1 of 1 are all distinct. Okay, and this gives a cycle of length r. Okay, 1 sigma 1 etc sigma raised to r minus 1, this is of cycle of length r. Clear? This one may be repeated many times, and you choose r as the smallest positive integer such that sigma raised to r of 1 equal to 1. In our case r is 4. Okay, and if r less than n, okay, that means the number of elements, okay, less than n, let a be the least integer not in 1 sigma 1 etc sigma raised to r minus 1. In our case the number is 2. Then consider the cycle a sigma square a sigma raised to s minus 1 of a, in which s is the least positive integer with the sigma raised to s of a equal to a. In our case only one element. Okay, then choose an element that is not in the set 1 to etc. That means here we are taking r plus s less than n, because cycle of length. In our first case we get a cycle of 4, r is equal to 4, and we get s is equal to 1. So s equal to 1. So what about r plus s? 1 plus 4 plus 1, and which is equal to 5. Clearly this is less than 11. Okay, so if r plus s is less than n, let b be the least positive integer not in the set 1 sigma, like this. Okay, and which form a cycle beginning with sigma b. Okay, so we continue in this way until we have exhausted. Okay, and if you consider sigma equal to like this, then sigma is a product of disjoint cycle. Okay, so here we get another cycle. If you continue, it's a cycle beginning with b, means like this: b sigma square b etc some sigma raised to t minus 1 of b. Okay, now consider the case if r plus s plus t less than n. If this is equal to n, then we have exhausted. Otherwise, choose a number, smallest number that is not in this set. Like this, we proceed. Okay, and we can write sigma as a product of disjoint cycle. There is no proof for writing this as a product, but from our example, it is clear, na? So there is no need to show this as a product in our main theorem. You can just write then sigma is equal to product of 1 sigma 1 etc sigma raised to minus 1 of 1 a sigma a etc sigma raised to s minus 1 of a, like this. That means sigma is a product of disjoint cycle. For convenience, I have used the notation mu1 mu2 mu3 mu4 in our example. Okay, so in this case this is actually mu1 and this is mu2, like this. Okay, so since since the cycles are disjoint by previous proposition, the product does not depend on their order. Okay, note that cycle of length 1 can be omitted. So it is left as an exercise. Here also they left as an exercise to join to show this representation is unique. You can easily show. Okay, you assume that sigma is equal to mu1 mu2 etc some mu k, and sigma is equal to some delta 1 delta 2 etc delta m, and you prove k equal to m and mu I is equal to delta I delta j for some j. You try to prove this, okay? Or you can use any other method to prove the uniqueness. Okay, that's all for today's class.